The easiest way to describe the differences between goals, projects, and tasks is this. Goals are where you are trying to go. That's where you want to get to, your destination. Okay? Projects are the route that take you to that destination. And tasks are the turn-by-turn directions that you need to make the route work. Here's another way to think about it. Goals are the objective, projects are the strategy, and tasks are the tactics. Hi, I'm Chris LeBrun, your host of the Wholistic Productivity Podcast. As someone who's never been afraid of dreaming big and going for it all, I often find myself with a lot on my plate. I'm a husband and father, a nonprofit fundraiser, and an entrepreneur. What I've realized is my view of productivity was pretty toxic. After decades of believing that in order to do more, you had to work harder, I began to see productivity as this beautiful thing. Holistic productivity is the idea that you can accomplish your professional, personal, and purpose-driven goals in a healthy way, and doing so will make you happier and more fulfilled. Join me each week as we break down myths about productivity, share practical tips for maximizing your time, energy, and focus, and hear from others about their productivity journey. This is the Wholistic Productivity Podcast. Welcome to episode number 4 of the Wholistic Productivity Podcast. My name is Chris LeBrun. I'm your host. Thanks so much for being here. It's good to have you with us. If you are enjoying this podcast, can you do me 2 favors? Number 1, tell a friend about it. Let somebody else in on the secret. We want them to experience productivity in their life as well. Secondly, if you could go to whatever podcast platform you listen to on and rate this. Let me know why you like it, what is good about this show. Again, that will help others find this show and listen as well. So that is what I would ask of you. Again, so great to have you here. Thanks for being part of episode number 4. Now, this is exciting because we are starting a 6-part series on some of the fundamentals of the holistic productivity framework. Now, some of them you're probably familiar with, but we're going to put them into perspective of the holistic productivity framework. Okay, so a little bit different twist maybe on what you're used to. Some of the episodes in this series may introduce some new concepts or new ideas, and that is exciting as well. Because again, that's what this is about. This show is about giving you the right tools in your toolbox to be productive and achieve your goals. So let's get started. Today's episode, I like to call Goals, Projects, and Tasks. Oh my. Goals, projects, and tasks. Oh my. Okay. Sorry about that. I couldn't resist. Now, it may sound like these words are interchangeable sometimes, and they could be, but I think that there are some very clear differences within this framework or this definition of holistic productivity. And so that's what we want to talk about today, just to understand those differences, how they work together, and to make our conversations clearer as we go forward. The easiest way to describe the differences between goals, projects, and tasks is this. Goals are where you are trying to go. That's where you want to get to, your destination. Okay? Projects are the route that take you to that destination. And tasks are the turn-by-turn directions that you need to make the route work. Here's another way to think about it. Goals are the objective, projects are the strategy, and tasks are the tactics. Let me give you a quick illustration. If your goal is to lose, say, 15 pounds, that's your destination. That's your objective. 15 pounds lighter on the scale. Well, how are we going to do that? What are the strategies that we are going to use to lose those 15 pounds? Well, we're going to start eating healthy. we're going to increase our exercise, and we're going to get more sleep so that we're more rested. Okay? Now we're going to break down each one of those to figure out our tactics or our tasks. For eating healthy, that might mean eating a salad every day for lunch, reducing the junk food and sweets that we take in, and not eating anything after 8 p.m. Okay, those may be the tactics for eating healthy. For increasing our exercise, we're going to go to the gym 3 days a week. We're going to run 3 days a week, and we're going to do yoga every day. Okay, those are the tactics for increasing our exercise. And to get more sleep, we're going to have a bedtime routine. No electronics 30 minutes before bed, and we're going to be in bed by 10 o'clock at night. You see how that breaks down? I have my goal or objective to lose 15 pounds, and my strategies for that, my projects that I'm going to take on, essentially, eating healthy, increasing exercise, getting more sleep. And then we looked at all the tasks or tactics that I need to do for each one. Again, let's take another example. As I was getting ready to launch my podcast, there were several projects that I needed to accomplish. There was all the technical stuff that I had to do to deliver the podcast to you guys. So I had to set up accounts. I had to get all the tech working, make sure I had a microphone and a camera. The next project was creating the content. I had to create an outline of what I wanted to say. I had to record each episode, get it edited, and then schedule the shows. And then, of course, there's marketing. That's another project so that people know about it. I had to create show clips, share it on social media. I send out some individual invitations to friends and colleagues. So again, just examples of how these things work together. Goals, projects, and tasks. Let's pause here for a quick break. We'll be right back. This episode is sponsored by Efficient.app. Big shout out to Alex and Andra from Efficient.app for sponsoring the Wholistic Productivity Podcast from the very beginning. We love that. When you are looking for new software, Efficient.app is the place to go. They have already done all the research for you, which saves you the headache of doing a trial of every single app you want to look at. They offer hundreds of product reviews and comparison videos that are informative and fun to watch. Want to hear how Motion stacks up against Monday.com or Asana or ClickUp? They have a review for that. Here's what I love. They promise no BS software reviews. They tell you exactly what they love and what they don't love. And best of all, they have negotiated special deals, discounts, or even extended trial periods for a bunch of different products. If you're going to look for software, do yourself a favor and let Efficient.app do the work for you. Click on the link in the show notes. That's the best way to get there because you'll let them know that you appreciate them sponsoring the Holistic Productivity Podcast as well. Check them out, Efficient.app. Link in the show notes. You won't regret it. Now, we'll talk more about this in upcoming episodes, but you can see how all of these work together to form a roadmap for achieving your goals. One of the problems in achieving our goals is that we forget to look at all the steps. Now, we can't just ignore the goal and focus on the project. It's like saying, if I want to drive on Interstate 95, that's not really complete because our goal usually contains the why. Why do I want to drive on I-95? Well, I want to get to Boston or I want to get to Florida. And it's important to understand where I want to go, what that destination is, because those are two very different directions on I-95. Okay, so the why is really important in understanding our goal and having that craft or create the projects and the tasks that we do. Now, sometimes we forget to consider the tasks. What does it mean to eat healthy? Wait, does that mean I can't have ice cream at 11 o'clock at night? If we don't have a plan for those tactics Again, this is why so many of our New Year's resolutions fail. And we've talked about that over and over and over. You have to be intentional and know, when am I going to go to the gym? How am I going to curb that craving for ice cream in the middle of the night? Now, I mentioned our next episode, we're going to look at goals. So I want to dive a little bit deeper into projects and tasks in this episode. Now, again, it's easy to get confused on what is a project and what is a task, but let's go back to our definition. Projects are strategies to help us reach our goals, and the tasks are the tactics that we use to achieve the strategies. Projects, you could say, are the middle management of productivity. But they're really great because they give us something to shoot for that's a little bit more manageable. It's a nice, easy way to find a win without getting so overwhelmed by this big goal. Projects also give us a sense of completion and accomplishment along the way. They can be that small victory in a larger battle. But projects are also bigger than our tasks. Depending on the project, it might take 10 or 20 tasks to complete a single project. Okay? So that is the breakdown there. Now, one of the problems I see often is people putting their projects on their daily to-do list. Now, this is not something that you can usually finish in one day. So what happens? That project sits on their to-do list for days or weeks or months or however long that they have it there. Creating content for my podcast was not a single day task. In some ways, this is a project that's never going to be over. But if I break down that project into individual tasks, I can complete the content for this episode today. That's a task. But the project is going to be open as long as this show is active, as long as you're still listening. Also, on that, the example of losing 15 pounds, right? Eating healthy is one of our strategies, but that project really shouldn't end. We should be doing that all the time anyways. So what I want to do is I want to get down to the smallest portion of my project, which is a task that I can do in a day, and then be able to cross that off at the end of the day. Now, here's a question. Do all of your tasks belong on your to-do list? I'll let you think about this for a while. It's not really a rhetorical question, and I hope it's not too existential. I hope it's not frying your brain too much. But I've seen people put tasks on their list that they've already done, just so they can, cross it off or check it off. Now, look, I'm not going to judge that. I may be guilty of that at times, depending on the day, right? We all need that little win. But there is value in recording everything that needs to be done. Because, we can forget. Right? I have thought about tasks that I need to do, and if I don't do them right away, if I don't put them on a list, 10 minutes down the road, I'm like, oh, what was that I wanted to do? I forgot. But on the flip side, I don't want to get so overwhelmed when I look at my to-do list because I have a ton of these tiny tasks. We talked about this in the last episode, the getting things done, GTD method, can be overwhelming if you were to put all of those small little tasks on a list. And there needs to be some balance there. Here's how I approach my to-do list. First of all, I have a different list for each area of my life. So I have a list for my professional tasks, my personal tasks, and my purpose-driven tasks. This keeps me organized, it minimizes distractions, and allows me to add more of those smaller tasks so I don't forget, right? It's not as overwhelming. Secondly, my to-do list only has the tasks on it that I am going to complete today. I keep another master list of tasks because otherwise I forget. But only today's tasks make it into my daily planner so that I can be focused on what I need to do today. Now, that sort of brings up an age-old question. I mentioned daily planner. So here's another question for you. Do you have a paper to-do list or a digital to-do list? Because, there are pros and cons with both. I'll tell you my preference. I love paper. It is my default for sure. It's quick, it's easy, there's no learning curve, and there are all sorts of planners out there that you can use, physical planners, including my favorite, which is the Wholistic Productivity Planner that I developed. But you don't even need a planner. I shouldn't tell you this, right? You can just use a simple piece of blank paper. That's all you need. And research has shown that there are cognitive benefits to using paper. Our brain remembers better because we're engaging multiple senses as we are writing, as we are seeing. It's tactile. But digital has a lot of benefits as well, and I like digital for some things. If you're going to have a repeating task that happens maybe every week or every month, that is good. I have a digital reminder that every month I need to do my accounting, finances for that month, for my businesses. So I need to look at that every month. Some of our tasks or projects may go beyond the space in my planner, right? My planner is a quarterly planner. So if I'm looking at something 6 months down the road, I'm not going to have space for that in my current planner that I'm using. Another benefit of digital is the notifications or the reminders at a specific date and time. Some apps even have location reminders so that when I pull into my driveway, I remember that I need to go do my laundry tonight, So that is great. And then the other thing that digital has a lot easier than paper is collaboration with team members. It's hard to pass a physical planner around to everybody on your team. So again, there are pros and cons with both. It feels like I've tried almost every paper and digital planner out there. And again, they all have good qualities to them. What it comes down to is what works best for you, what is the best part of your workflow, and then use that consistently. And again, it might be a little bit of both, right? There might be partly digital and partly paper. But the key is once you find that system, just be consistent with it. And I think that's where we're going to end this episode. Just to recap, we were looking at the differences and the similarities, kind of understanding goals, projects, and tasks. Goals, those are the objectives. That's the destination that we want to go to. And it often contains your why. So that is helpful for you. Projects, those are our strategies. They give us our direction. They provide milestones along the way so that we can see a win. And then the tasks are our tactics. These are the turn-by-turn directions that help us reach our destination. And these are the things that go on our daily to-do list. Now, again, this is how I define them and use those three words: goals, projects, and tasks. And again, if you're listening to this podcast in the coming weeks and months, understanding this will give you sort of that common understanding, and hopefully it'll provide some clarity and structure for you. Now, come back next week. We are going to continue our series on the fundamentals of holistic productivity. And like I said, we're looking at setting goals. We're going to take a deep dive into how to set better goals so that you have success. Okay, so I don't want you to miss that. Be sure to come back next week. The best way to do that, if you're not subscribed, is to go to your favorite podcast platform. I don't care if it's Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Amazon or iHeart. We're on all of them. So go to your favorite podcast platform, follow the show, subscribe to it. And while you're there, if you want to rate the show as well, 5 stars would be great. I would love that. Rate it 5 stars. Tell us why you like it, though. That would be fantastic for new people who are looking to check out the show. And you can find the show anywhere on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, YouTube, LinkedIn, all at Wholistic Productivity. Show notes for today's show, you can find those at holisticproductivity.com/4. That is the website for the show notes. And there's also resources on the website as well. So check that out. Again, thanks so much for being here and for listening. My hope for the show is that it will help you dream big, plan smart, and live fully. Take care. We'll see you next time. Before I sign off, close your eyes for a minute, unless you're driving. But close your eyes and imagine this. It's Friday. You're excited for the weekend. TGIF, right? You're wrapping up the work week, getting ready to leave the office. But as you're walking out the door, you start to reflect on the week and you say, what did I even accomplish this week? It's a frustrating feeling and a horrible way to start your weekend. You know that you've worked hard all week, but you have little or nothing to show for it. If you've ever had these feelings at the end of your week, I have a special offer for you to help you on your productivity journey. I talk about it all the time. Being intentional with your time is one of the biggest parts of productivity. And one of the best ways you can be intentional is to plan your week. Planning your week provides clarity on your priorities. It eliminates confusion about what needs to be done, and it sets you on a path for success. Now, I've developed the perfect tool to help you plan your week. I call it my Sunday strategy, and I want to give you my Sunday strategy worksheet and guide absolutely free when you sign up for my weekly newsletter. The guide offers clear strategies for using the principles of holistic productivity to plan your week. You'll have a mindset shift away from the toxic aspects of productivity, and you'll get step-by-step directions for using the Sunday strategy worksheet. With my Sunday strategy, you only need 15 minutes each Sunday to plan out your entire week. It'll let you identify major projects and tasks that are coming up, assign those projects to specific days, and best of all, there are different sections for each area of your life: professional, personal, and purpose-driven, so you can reach all of your goals. My Sunday strategy worksheet also includes a weekly habit tracker to keep you focused on the habits that you want to develop. So if you want to avoid those Friday feelings of frustration and despair, you need my Sunday strategy worksheet. It's the perfect planning tool to help you build the winning strategy for your week. It's a resource you can come back to each day to keep you focused on reaching your goals, and it's an accountability tool to help you track your progress. Basically, it can help you have the most productive week ever. Like I said, it is completely free when you sign up for my weekly newsletter, which also features more strategies and tips to help you dream big, plan smart, and live fully. To get my Sunday strategy worksheet and guide, go to mysundaystrategy.com and sign up. That's mysundaystrategy.com. There will also be a link in the show notes, but again, mysundaystrategy.com. Look forward to having you back here for the next episode of the Wholistic Productivity Podcast.